The lesson today is called The Measurement Man, and we're going to be making an old man using some measurement tools and practicing our measurement skills. We're also going to be making some spheres, which are rounded circles. But let's get started. The first thing we'll need is a piece of clay, and I call this, when I break off a piece of clay and kind of start rounding it, kind of a blob. And this blob should be the size that can fit inside a toilet tube. And when I end up rolling it, it becomes about 1.5 inches sphere when it's rolled smooth. But right now we're going to actually take this and we're going to break it in half. Now for our measurement man, as we're working on this, I want you to think about what man you're going to make. You can turn this into a fisherman, any old man that you'd like. The requirements are just to have a beard, and you don't have to have a hat, beard, facial features, with some texture. This could be a Moses figure, or it could be just an older elderly man, a grandpa. This could be Father Winter. You might want a hat for Father Winter. Here's a Father Winter one with hat. This was painted blue. You could do a little elf. If you want to even put some elf ears on, you can. This one's Jack Frost here with some elf ears. You could also turn this into the winter warlock, a magician, any type of an old man you can think of. Use your imagination. Sometimes as you're making it, then you can decide who you want it to be. Or you can do it as the jolly old St. Nicholas, Father Noel. So whoever you'd like it to be. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is take your approximate 1.5 inch sphere, and you're going to break it in half. And if there's one side that's a little bit smaller, just by kind of estimating, you estimate with a guess, I'm going to do the little bit smaller one. And I'm going to go ahead and roll this. Now when you're working with clay, this type of clay is ceramic fire clay. And I'm going to actually fire this in a kiln. And this is going to heat up to about 1800 degrees. So this clay dries out very fast, depending on the clay you're working. So whenever you're working with this type of clay, you want to work quick and don't play with it too much. And if it starts drying out, you can just kind of put a tiny bit of water in to make it a little bit moist, to help moisten this clay. So roll it, go ahead and roll it. When you roll it, you place it in the palm of your hand. You put your other palm on top, and this is kind of a concave section, and that's what I'm going to be working in, this concave section here in my palm to help do the work. And then I'm going to roll this in a circular motion. So if you want to put this hand down flat, and you're going to draw a circle on the top with the top of your hand, just like this. And the faster you do it, actually, it works much better. And just a few rolls will give you a beautiful round. If you have a little rough area here, you can put a little water in, smooth it out, let me crack. But this will give you a beautiful round sphere. It doesn't have to be perfect, because we're going to be flattening it the next step. But the sphere, here's a blob of clay, you can tell the difference. And this is a sphere. It's a rounded shape, and I used my hands to make that. So a rounded piece. Now something that is flat, this one is just flattened. This is just a circle. Circle, sphere. So the flattened circle, the flattened shape becomes a circle, and the rounded is a sphere because it's three-dimensional, like a marble. And this is approximately 1 inch to 1.25 inches, probably 1.25 inches. So I'm going to take this, and then I'm just going to press down. Pressing with the palm of my hand, and I'm not banging and smashing. I'm just lightly pressing. And then I flip this over, and at this point I call this, this is actually like a slab of clay, or I call it a cookie. Just flip it over, press it down again. Now if you have any part of this uneven, just kind of pinch it so that it's evened. If you have any cracks, I've dipped my finger in water, and I'm just going to smooth out these cracks right in here on these edges. Just kind of smooth them out, and then smooth out any areas. And then I'm going to prepare this surface now to accept some clay features right in here. So what I want to do is with my leftover clay, I want to pinch out pieces that are approximately 1/4 of an inch. So if you go like this, you see it's almost, well, when I roll it, it'll become 1/4 of an inch. It's almost a 1/2 inch piece as I pull it, and it's almost the width of my finger. And if you look, a lot of artists use their fingers as measurement tools. The width of your finger is approximately 1/2 inch wide, and your finger's a little bit skinnier this way. Your pinky finger I use as a 1/4 inch measurement here, but an index finger is approximately 1/2 inch wide. And then when I end up rolling this, and I'm going to give it a little bit more water. I've just dipped into the water. If it starts drying out, make sure you get a little bit of water. Now I'm just going to roll this. You can roll it in the palm of your hand so that it becomes a tiny pea. And that's approximately 1/4 of an inch. So you're going to need 3 of these 1/4 inch little peas. It's about the size of the vegetable pea, and you want it to be about 1/4 of an inch wide. And I'm going to make 3. Now I'm going to place them, 2 eyes and a nose right in here. Now the next thing that I'm going to get ready is I'm going to do the beard. So with the beard, I'm going to take half this clay and break it in half. My leftover clay, break it in half. I'm going to save the bigger, and with this, I'm going to stick those over here. With these, I'm going to just flatten this, kind of smush it into a flat patty right here. Now once I've smushed this, I'm going to add a little bit of water, and I'm going to mix it in here with the base of this, kind of stirring it so that it forms a slip. Liquid clay is a slip. So I'm stirring it up and getting this surface ready to attach this clay to. And I'm just going to break off a piece of this. The rough edge I'm going to have on the edge of my Santa. Now I'm not going to hang it off too much. And then I'm going to press, whoops, that slipped right over. I'm going to put it down, and then I'm going to press the top edge in. Basically, I'm smushing, rip off a piece, have the rough edge hang down, and I'm pressing, and then I'm going to smush the top in. I'm basically smushing the top section in so that it blends into that, and the rough edge is hanging down. Pull into little pieces, rough edge down. Now it's not hanging over much. See that? And then I'm going to blend this in. Blend this in with your finger. I like using the back side of my nail for blending. Rip piece, and I'm layering it. So it gives a texture, of kind of a fluffy beard texture. Rip, place, smush, rip, place, smush, smush the edge, there. And design it however you want. I'm going to kind of round it a little bit, and there. Now I'm going to press the eyes in, press with the nose, and then I'm going to use a wood tool, and I'm going to use the round end of this wood tool. Now you can use a paintbrush handle, you can use a dowel, you can use your pencil, the other end of your pencil, here's the pointed. And I'm just going to press this in. This will join the eyepiece to the base piece, the face piece, and it will blend in those edges of those clay. That's important. You have to join when you're putting 2 pieces of clay together. You have to make this become one. So the little tiny molecules, which are the little microscopic things you don't see in the clay, it's the powder. You can see the powder's all over my hand. These are all little molecules of clay. The molecules need to blend together to become one piece right in here. So I'm kind of doing my finger. So the edge of the nose is blended down and in. That way it's sealed. The eyes are sealed through this pressing of these inner circles. The next step is to roll a little mustache. So I'm going to take some of this leftover clay, And I'm going to place it, and this is the size of approximately 2 of the peas. I'll get a little bit bigger piece here. Make sure it's wet. If this stuff is starting to dry out, put a little water on top as you're working. The air dries out this clay. And then I'm going to roll it. Put it in the palm of your hand, and I'm rolling back and forth. Or you can even roll it on a flat surface here. Back and forth. And this is called a coil. Some kids call it snakes. It's a long, skinny snake, but the correct term is coil. And then with this, I'm going to just add a little bit of water so that I can bend this. And then I'm going to bend it in half. And this beard you can form any shape you'd like. I'm going to bend it in half and curl it up and give a little press. Now to seal this in, I take the tool, I press in the middle, and I rock back and forth. So Santa's actually going ho, ho, ho. Or the old man is saying, oh, I got the fish. So there's his mouth. Now for the hat, I'm going to make a triangle. I'm going to roll my ball. I'm going to roll it back and forth like I'm starting to roll a coil back and forth. And then I'm not going to do this end. I'm just going to pinch out this end right here. I want it to be kind of like a candy. It's going to be like a triangle or a candy, those candy corns from Halloween. So I'm pressing this down, and it's going to become a cone right in here. And then once I get, so this end is pinched in, if you kind of go like this, your fingers will make it natural. And I'm butting up against my thumb. And then I flatten, and then get back into it. So I'm using my fingers to help me form this triangle. And then I'm going to place it onto the head and really push down here. Then I'm going to roll a brim, which is another coil, right here, back and forth. And I'm going to put my brim on, pressing that in real good. Now, it's important to turn the hat over and blend, blend, blend. That way, with your finger, so that this becomes one piece. You want this to be pretty thick. And then, if you're going to hang it, you're just going to press in your hole, and there you have your measurement man.